Hello everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome back to my sewing room. I happen to have a very fun challenge that I am doing today with Kirilee Cosplay! G'day! So we are going to be putting ourselves through the ringer, you will, today, because we have come up with the crazy idea to make a cosplay in a day out of only thrifted materials.
Yes, I'm sorry, I couldn't stand on my tippy toes anymore. I am a bit shorter.
That's totally fine. You just need less materials.
Yay! Winning!
So we are going to go to a couple of thrift stores, or
op shops, as I call them.
And this video is going to be kind of spliced together on both of our channels so that you will see my perspective of making the project as well as Kirilee's perspective of making her project, which we are going to somehow keep somewhat secretive from each other, even though we are shopping together
and
making them together.
Yeah, and then tomorrow we want to go and shoot them.
Yes.
But at that point we'll know, because
we'll know.
We'll have to do like a reveal.
Yes.
Like you come out of this room, I come out of that room, and then that way we'll be like, wow!
So we are going to give ourselves the reveal of like what our materials look like and then what our finished project looks like.
Yes, exactly right. So,
yes.
And we are going to be having a bit of a budget for this one.
Yes, so we are going to attempt to make these upcycled cosplays on only $40 a piece.
Or less.
Or less.
Or less.
Hopefully that will actually work. And we are going to be doing a mixture of like sewing from scratch potentially with like linen fabric, well not linen fabric, but bed linens, etc. Or potentially upcycling existing clothing.
Yes.
Yes.
So and we have a category for this.
Yes.
So our category is
woodland fantasy. Because specifically we are going tomorrow to the woods to take pictures of our fantasy.
Yes. So we're basically anything between like a hobbit, I'm like elf, like fawn, mushroom creature, hag, the forest,
the forest,
just the forest in general. Okay, so this morning Rebecca was outside and she was just picking up like huge like twigs,
just cleaning up the backyard,
and she's like walking around like, are you already starting your costume? And she's like, I am the forest. That was great.
So we are going to take you guys with us to the thrift store so that you can see our whole process from the get-go with the help of Kirilee's wonderful husband Terry, who is going to help film for us.
Yes. And
we're gonna see what we can find.
We're gonna have so much fun. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
I like did a whole lot of like inspiration.
I did not do any of that
last night and this morning, and
you have actually done homework. Great.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm excited. I'm
very excited.
And this will be my first photo shoot in Seattle, in Washington. Yeah. So, and like it's so pretty around here. I don't know if anyone has been to. Well, obviously you have been, but like if like people have been to Washington State, but it's absolutely gorgeous here.
Definitely come visit. It's a beautiful place here.
Yeah, and yeah, so I'm so excited to actually take photos in some of these locations. They're gorgeous.
We're putting the wah in the other wah.
Yes, the Western Australia, Washington State, wah to wah. Hey,
let's go to the thrift store. We're here at the First Value Village. We're gonna try potentially going to 2 different value villages and see what we can see. I'm starting in the bedding and bath section to see if I can find any fabrics. And the first thing that I saw was this like fake fur blanket. I think that might have potential.
I come to see how you're doing.
So I'm totally torn on whether I want to go like Hobbit core route with something like that, which I think would be super cute, or like full on like, I don't even know what this would be, but something a lot more spooky. I'm trying to not get distracted when looking for the fabrics and stuff by stuff unrelated to the project, but like this is really cute. And it's really inexpensive. Very tempted. Kirilee's over there exclaiming she knows what she's gonna do.
I know what I'm gonna do.
What are you gonna do?
No, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. And you're not even allowed to see my fabric. I'm very proud of my fabric. I'm excited. I don't know how I'm gonna make it in one day, but I'm excited.
I still don't know what I'm gonna do. I definitely think I'm leaning more towards Hobbit, but I'm not sure exactly in what way. I found this though, and it is beautiful. It's like an embroidered chiffon, and it just looks like it could make maybe a beautiful apron. And then I also found this, and I was like, oh my God, that'd be a really cute bodice, but I don't really have time to make a bodice, so I'm not sure about that one yet. And then there's a couple of greens. This green matches better, and I love the little embroidered bit there, but then like this one's all over with a leaf print, which like how perfect is that for a woodland fantasy? So I'm not sure yet. I think it's time to go see if I can find anything pre-made to save myself some of the trouble of making all of this from scratch.
Yes, also, Kirilee has crazy eyes. What do you have to say?
She always has crazy eyes.
Are you scared? Are you still ready to go?
I am scared.
All right.
Well, she's spying.
Voila. The game is on. Oh look, they're fighting over material now. Look at them.
This is the part of the video where I walk by the toy aisle and get slightly distracted by actually finding, for the second time ever, an American Girl doll at Value Village. And since she is $4.50, I think I have to get her and attempt to restore her. Pretty sure she's Samantha. She's real beat up. She's seen better days. But I think she's gonna come home with me separate to this project. I had really been hoping that I might be able to find a vest to turn into a bodice, but this is the entire vest section. So I guess that's gonna be a no. So this would actually make like the cutest little bodice, but it's only one layer and it looks really weird because it's not lined. So I don't know about this one. So here's where we try to work out what the outfit put together is going to look like, because I've narrowed down all of the things that did not work, which is good. There was a lot. And basically I have two potential top, like blouse type options. One would be actually using this dress as the under and having like green, or we could go with kind of a basic white, which works well as well. I think this one might be $1 or $2 cheaper than the dress, and cotton versus polyester, so that is always good. And it's a good neutral because it's white. So the second thing that I found in the whole store was this beautiful embroidered yellow chiffon, which I was thinking was like apron for Hobbit type situation. I think that'd be so pretty, and could go with either this one that I showed you earlier, which would be a little bit less full, but it'd be very springy, and or could go with the leaf would be the other option. So yeah, we have to figure out. I like the little embroidery that's down at the bottom of this tablecloth. But I do like the leaves. I think the leaves are nice, and this gives me more fabric to play with. But I don't know that it goes as well with the yellow, to be honest. I think the brighter goes better with the yellow. And then I think I am going to attempt to make a bodice this day, which will not be well made, but I found this, and I think it would be such a cute bodice, and like very woodsy altogether.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure which green to pair it with.
Can you get that green?
Yeah.
Get out this green again and remove the other green.
Let's see.
I'm just making
There's
a juggle
that
our
green.
hands.
These two are a little Christmassy.
Yeah, but if you
together.
have the yellow mix with it.
They look nice,
It's very Thanksgiving.
but these also look really nice. It's actually tones down the green. So I don't know. It's gonna be a hard choice. All these colors are way more muted on the camera than in real life because of the fluorescent lighting, I think. But we've got the blouse up here, bodice fabric, apron fabric. This is potential cloak, and then the two skirt fabrics. I love the fact that this embroidery literally picks up this embroidery. I think that's so pretty. This is the only one that would go with the cloak fabric for sure. And I don't know, it is a little more muted, which maybe is good for like a fairy tale creature. Okay, so we're starting at $31.68 because Kirilee and I are totaling ours together so that we can use a bigger coupon. So we're gonna see how much my total is, and then we can use that coupon.
So I was $31.68.
$31.68.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
Kirilee lucked out and had a couple items that were on 50% off sale. don't think I'm gonna be so lucky. You got your calculator out to do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
to figure out how much you are.
So far, none of mine are on sale.
They're good prices though.
Yeah. Oh, they're good
Some
prices. This is the only expensive piece.
It's pretty though.
It is very pretty. It was like inspired the whole outfit. Okay, so before tax, or no, before coupon.
Yeah. What is the balance?
It's just under $43 because it's $74.61 right now minus, what were we at?
$74.61.
$31.68.
$31.68. You're at $42.93.
But luckily I have a coupon.
Yes.
But first we are also going to put this in, even though she's not related to this project.
She needs a bit of tender love and care.
She does. She really does. Okay, coupon. Ooh, it dropped it down to $61.16.
Wow.
And that was even after the doll, so yay. All right, success. All right, so we are back from the thrift store, and you've basically already seen my fabrics, but Kirilee really has not seen my fabrics.
And she hasn't told me how she's going to use these fabrics.
Yes, so let's go ahead and kind of talk this through. So from the bottom, starting at the bottom as the song goes,
yep.
This is my skirt fabric. So
cute.
this is a tablecloth, and it has lots of yardage. I measured this, it was like 130 something inches wide.
It's about 4 yards worth.
Yeah, it's a lot. So it's going to be really pretty awesome to put into a skirt. I am going to add pockets, but otherwise it's going to be pretty straight.
You're just doing a rectangle?
I think so. I might cut it on a slight bias. We'll see.
Yeah.
Like a slight angle on the
I was just going to do a
board.
rectangle. Keep it simple.
Yeah. Well, then why did you put that idea into it?
Because I'm a terrible human being.
So we'll see. I mean, you know, if it's like, it's not any difference. If so we'll see. But that's the skirt. And then the bodice is not what I'm wearing because I already own this bodice, but it's going to be modeled after this pattern, which is my Gunny Saxmas bodice from like 2+ years ago, I think. And luckily I went back and I watched that video and found out what pattern I used, and I even like had made paper copies of the pattern. I'm gonna tweak it a little because this neckline is awful, but otherwise it should be decent. Like, I'm not gonna do a mock-up. So keep your fingers crossed for me that this all works out. She's mad. She's mad.
Lucky for some. Lucky for some that we can just pull out a pattern that we had.
Well,
that fits us perfectly.
When I finally get to Perth and we do a similar challenge,
like
you will have the advantage.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm going to be making it out of this tablecloth right here. It's all about the tablecloths. It really is for thrifting. And I feel like this is going to make a really cute bodice that, yes, I am realizing is somewhat similar in color to what I'm wearing right now, but quite different. Yeah. So, so that's the bodice. And then the blouse I showed you guys at the thrift store, it was the white one with the puffy sleeves and kind of the regular collar up here. I don't know if I'm going to take that off, to be honest, the collar. I may, we'll see how much time I have.
Yeah.
And then this is the fabric that started it all. This I'm going to be making into a sort of an apron.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, it's embroidered chiffon. I don't know what this is. It could be something like a dupatta. I'm not sure. It was in the table linen section, but I don't think this is a tablecloth.
I don't think that's a tablecloth.
Yeah, it's very beautiful though. I'm almost sad, honestly.
I'm a little bit sad that you're going to be cutting into it.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think, like, is there anything else that I can do to not cut it? But I think it's just too much yardage. But it's so pretty. So yeah, that was what inspired all of this. And then if I have time, I got this fabric to make a capelet out of, a little like hooded capelet, which I mean, like, that's not, you know, it's not hard to make something like that, but it's just extra and we don't have very much time.
No, but that's
okay. And I also had the idea potentially that if there's enough time and if there's enough of this fabric, maybe, and if it matches Kirilee's outfit, that maybe we could make twin matching capes, because that'd be so cute.
That would be cute. That would be cute.
And they had 2 more of these at the thrift store if it's not enough fabric, so we can always run back.
Yeah. So we'd have to like play around, make sure it all matches. But yeah, good times.
Yeah,
excellent.
So we really better get down to it.
Yeah, it's already like 4 o'clock or something. And,
God.
We went to like, We were only meant to like go out for dinner at like 7:30.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's gonna happen.
We'll see. So.
I can always make dinner here. It's fine.
So we'll see how this goes. But I think I'm going to start by throwing the skirt together because at least that is quick and easy.
I'm going to start with the bodice.
Okay.
I'm going to start with my bodice.
I am tempted to that since obviously the bodice does work. So talking about the bodice now, I'm just going to say what I'm doing here is I am going to be doing some little bits different than this bodice. If you have seen this old video, which I'll link it down below in case you haven't seen it and you want to see a similar but different bodice, one that's maybe a little bit better made because I'm doing this, you know, super quickly. But this is a 3-piece bodice, as in there is a center front, a side front, and a back piece. And this one I made like 2 layers together, and then I did like I did boning channels on the liner, and then I kind of put together the outer and bound the whole thing. There's not time for all that. I did the eyelets like on the machine on my Viking, which is what Kirilee is going to be using, so therefore I don't get to do that anyway.
I mean, you're more than welcome to do it. Like, it's fine.
No, I'm going to be doing grommets on this because that's a lot faster in my opinion. And also I'm going to be putting this together where you build both layers, outer and inner, because I am going to have an inner structure layer to this with like some old scrap. She is also welcome to use all of like, the scraps. I just want to say I'm not giving myself an unfair advantage to that. Like any, you know, canvas, twill, or any old sheets
I'm just going for it.
Yes, but so I'm going to do that for the structure layer of the bodice that I'm making, and I'm going to do right sides together, go around all the edges and turn it right sides out, and then put the grommets in and sandwich the boning in that way, and that way it should be fun. A lot faster. Yeah. So let's get started.
Let's get started.
All right, quick check-in since we are just past the 1 hour mark here. I have all of the bodice pieces because I did decide to do the bodice first since I figured it was going to be the more labor-intensive thing. So all of the bodice pieces are cut out, and in fact the outer pieces are sewn together. I am about to sew together the inner pieces and press all of the seams, and then I think I should be able to put them right sides together and turn them right sides out, like sew along all of the outsides, turn them right sides out. I remember that when you do that sort of thing, you don't actually close up the shoulder seam until after you turn them right sides out. Hopefully I'm remembering this sort of thing correctly, but I'm pretty sure that is how it works. The one thing that I did kind of mess up, and yes, I realized this after I had only cut 2 pieces, so I could have fixed this and then I chose not to, was on the bodice that I made before, it is bound on like all of the edges, the hem, the neckline, the arm size, they're all bound. They are not turned like this. And I didn't have seam allowance in those parts of the pattern pieces. So this is going to be a little bit smaller ever around. I'm going to attempt to do a smaller seam allowance, like a 3/8 inch or 1/4 inch maybe, as I go around and put them, the outer and the inner together. But yeah, it's going to be just a little bit off from that one. We are nearly 2 hours into the project now, and I have just finished attaching the front piece to the back piece. As I was pinning it, Kirilee reminded me, because I haven't done this sort of method in a while, that you are not meant to close up the bottom, which I'm really glad that she reminded me about that, because of course you have to insert the boning somehow, right? So that's how it goes in. Don't close up the bottom. You also, again, don't close up the straps because otherwise you would just wind up totally tangled. So I gave myself, I don't know if that's a 1/4 inch or 3/8 of an inch or somewhere in between of a seam allowance all the way around. I'm hoping that that also means that I don't really have to clip my curve nearly as much, or at least trim down the seam allowance. I think I probably will still clip into the curve, but I'm taking all the pins out now. I'm going to clip seam allowances, curves, etc. as much as I need to, and then turn this right side out, and then hopefully I'll be able to put in boning and move on to doing grommets, and then I can close up the bottom, and then, well, I have to do the shoulder straps I think before I can do boning and grommets, but then the bodice would be done. So ideally I'd love to finish it in the next hour before we go to dinner, but I don't know if that's going to be a possibility. So this is what it looks like with everything pressed in place, and Kirilee had the very good idea to do a little cheat on the shoulder seam and to like serge or zigzag, I'm going to serge them off the edges and just put them together like this, not try to conceal those seams within the shoulder seams. I think that is going to be so much easier than attempting to like put them right sides together and like turn them and sew them because they're just so narrow. That is the other way of how you would do it, but I don't think I'd be able to do that on the machine with this one because they're so narrow, so I'd have to do it by hand. That's going to take a huge amount of time. So I'm just going to do it like I said with serger and then regular right sides together stitch. I've also pressed all of my edges down here where it's open in between the two, and that way as soon as I get those shoulder seams done, honestly I could probably even do it without the shoulder seams done, but I am going to do that first. As soon as I do that, I can start sewing some boning channels on here. I think I'm really just going to mostly put boning around the seams. So there's going to be 2 pieces of boning in the front, one on either side of where I'm going to put the grommets, and then probably one here, one, maybe 2 actually at the sides, and then probably 1 around the dart, 1 center back, etc. the rest of the way down. Hoping that I don't need one over here kind of in between in this larger piece, but I should probably check what I did on this one, which I did have boning in there and it looks like it's been pretty necessary. So okay, I think I'll put a boning in that middle channel bit as well. So we're now about 2 hours and 45 minutes into our project, and we actually had already made dinner reservations. So we are going to have to cut here for a little bit while we go out to dinner, and then hopefully get like, I'd say probably only about 2 hours left to finish everything afterwards, which is really scary because this is what my bodice looks like. So yes, it does look like a bodice, but it does not yet have any grommets. It has 1 piece of boning in it. It has 4 boning channels in it. And then once I do grommets and like at least this front boning, which is kind of bare minimum, I do at least have to close up the bottom. So basically what I could get away with doing potentially is only putting the front boning around the lacing and then adding boning at a later date when I go to wear this again, because my idea is I want this to be like a usable part of my costume wardrobe that I can get a lot of use out of. I mean, I have worn the other bodice at this point twice as baker's wife, so who knows what this one could become. But yeah, I do still have to make a skirt and an apron to go along with this. And that's going to be a lot for 2 hours, plus doing all of like the grommets and everything. But we're going to dinner, so we'll be back soon. Okay, so we're putting the grommets in now. So I've already marked them 1.5 inches apart. Then I go in with the awl, and I do that from both sides, mostly because I marked on the inside. But the grommet goes in from the outside. And then I take the tubey part of the grommet and put it in over here and make sure that all of the threads are around the grommet-y part. And then I take the disc part, looks like that, and I put that down over the top. And I've got this little setter on the bottom here. I will link to this grommet setter in the description if you're interested. And then the top part goes in like this. You can back out a little if you want. And then I hit it with the mallet. And sometimes it comes out a little bit rough, so if that happens, I hit it a couple more times. That's a little smoother. And that is what it looks like on the other side. I do this on a book. I know I'm being mean to one of my favorite books here, but it makes a good surface. Or you want to do this on a nice hard surface like a cement floor or something. But there we go. I've got to do 5 more on this side, and then 9 more on the other side. Well, I have been working at it a half hour since we got back from dinner. It is now 10:30, so that means 3 hours and 15 minutes total. But I figured I would take this time to show you that the bodice is kind of wearable, as in I have all of the grommets in, the bones are in for the first 2 channels, have not done any other channels. So this is still separated from the liner, but like it's actually fitting pretty well and it's staying on pretty well. So that means that I feel like this is a good time to actually switch gears and put the bodice aside and move to the skirt. And I am still a little bit torn about how this skirt structure is going to work. I have a lot of fabric for this skirt. Again, I think it's about 130 inches long because this is doubled. So it's this doubled. And then it's way wider of a tablecloth than I need right now. It is touching my feet and it is this tall. So this is like a lot of fabric. I want it to be long. It's going to be like a low calf length, I think, length. So I'm going to, you know, cut off the excess width here. And then I think I'm going to attempt to gather this. I keep going back and forth on whether to do a fitted waistband or not. Obviously a fitted waistband is going to take longer, but this much, like this much weight, etc., I feel like is going to do a lot better in a fitted waistband. And honestly, I still do want to add pockets. So I have at least an hour and a half of work ahead of me, like work time ahead of me that I can do. But that is for skirt, finishing anything on bodice, and apron, and if I can get to it, the cape. I'm kind of thinking the cape's not going to happen, but yeah, I have a lot to do. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to cut this into slight gores, so it is going to be a little bit narrower at the top than it is at the bottom as well. And let's make a skirt. So this is what my skirt panels look like. Here I have added the pocket bags on the sides. I've decided I am going to do an elastic waistband because now that I've cut off all the extra length, it doesn't feel too heavy, so hopefully that will work out okay. So I'm going to combine my 2 panels together with the pocket bags, etc., and then I will attach the elastic waistband, put on a hem, and hopefully that will be the end of the skirt. I'm using this wide elastic for the waistband. This is skirt elastic, like it is meant for waistbands, and it's the kind where it's meant to be exposed. You're not necessarily meant to put this inside like a waistband casing, etc. So what happens here is you just seam together the edges. Sometimes I like to see if I can get the little fuzzies here to melt. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So anyway, you seam together the edges, and I like to often press that flat with a very, very low iron and then stitch over the edge so that it just stitches that down so it doesn't unravel or anything like that. That's going to be the inside that faces your back. And then what you basically do is you divide this into 8ths. So I would like put a pin here and, you know, approximately there, each of those. And then I would do the same thing with the waist on here, divide that into 8ths, and then ideally we're gonna see if this works, because the idea is that you are meant to be able to stretch this out as far as the skirt. I don't think that my skirt's gonna be able to do that, so I think that I'm going to actually have to run gathering stitches on the top of the skirt and then like pull up the gathering stitches a little bit and stretch this out basically as far as it will go with those gathers in there. So the skirt will be gathered and then it will also be gathered to the elastic. I know you can't see the hem, but the skirt elastic is on and it's ready for the hem right now. It is dipping down a little bit on the bias seam, the side seam, so I do have to kind of shorten that up just a little, but it's very close to completion, which is good because we just hit the 5-hour mark on this project. So it is now time for the apron because the skirt is done, and I'm actually going to double layer the apron, trying to get the motif to be like mirrored on both sides, just because otherwise it's so sheer since it's chiffon that it's just reading too green yellow, and I want it to read more yellow yellow. So I am going to cut the back a little bit shorter and just probably do a rolled hem on the serger, honestly probably with the white thread because we're running out of time, and then I have to figure out how to do the ties, but otherwise just this bit up here is going to get gathered, and yeah, then whatever the tie is going to be made out of, whether that is going to be the chiffon or what, I haven't thought about yet, and it's just going to be gathered into that, and that's going to be used as the ties, and that's it. I found this yellow ribbon in my stash and it perfectly matches the yellow of the chiffon. So this is what I'm going to use for my waistband. I've already done the gathering stitches up here, so I am just going to stitch this to the ribbon because I also realized that most likely I'm wearing the apron underneath the bodice, so like you probably won't even see the ribbon. And yeah, I'm just going to attach it together and do that little rolled hem on the inner part, and the apron is done. Well, we have reached 2 a.m. and the skirt is done, the apron is done, and the bodice is not quite done. I have worked on everything at this point for 6 hours and 45 minutes. I'm going to spend, I know, at least another 15 minutes in the morning just at the very least sealing off the bottom of this. I did manage to put a whole bunch more boning channels in. Honestly, almost all of them. I did not yet add the one that was in that sort of side front section over here because that one I think I would have to add last to see like just exactly what direction it needs to be, etc. But I've added basically all of the rest, I think. There are no bones in any of the back ones, but I do have bones in all 5 of the front ones. So the 2 over here, 1, and then 2 at the side under the arm. On both sides, so at least that's something. And I am going to call it a night. Kirilee actually called it a night probably about 40 minutes ago, something like that. So I am going to go to bed as well. I don't think that the cape is going to happen. I think that is going to have to be foregone, but I will at least finish this bit off in the morning. And I'll have a really cute outfit for all of our pictures. So we'll see how much time I have tomorrow. Might be 15 minutes, might be 2 hours. Who knows? But for now, good night. So it is now the next morning. Kirilee got up way early and has already worked for 3 hours. So she is ahead of me in time.
Oh, whatever.
I have not done anything yet this morning, but I have already like put makeup on and stuff, and she has not. So
I'm gonna jump in the shower and become a beautiful princess,
which is what I already did.
A beautiful princess.
And so while she does that, I'm gonna take a little time to work. I'm hoping, since she has made a cape now this morning.
Well, you were still asleep.
Yes, I know. I am hoping that I can maybe throw together a cape in the next hour. So I'm going to see if I can find like an existing pattern just for a diagram basically and throw that together.
Yep.
And then I'll finish off the bodice with the last bit of boning channels that I told you about yesterday.
And like, frankly, like you are a faster sewer than I am. Like,
I don't think so.
I mean, my time at this point we worked out was what, 9
hours 15.
9 hours 15. Where you're on. Like,
I'm still at 7:45 at this point.
So and like in fairness, you also made an apron.
This is true. But it was very easy. I made an apron in like 20 minutes.
But like, you know, like this is the thing, like she is faster. So
but I didn't need to do a mock-up either. So
but I didn't really do it anyway. Enjoy. I'm gonna jump in the shower and I can't wait to see it all together. It's gonna look so good.
I'm very, very excited.
Yay!
Let's go finish off this project.
Yay!
By the way, I am using the hood pattern that I created for my winter coats. So it is a 3-piece hood. It looks like this for the sides, and then this goes through the center of it, which creates that sort of big round fairy tale shape. I'm hoping that this will work just as well as a cape, but I have cut out 4 pieces of the sides so that I can actually just bag line this and make it a lot easier. I don't have to, you know, finish edges or anything like that, do any hems. So that's what I've done here. I've cut out 4 of those. I am going to piece those all together now, or seam those all together now, and bag line them together, and then figure out how exactly to do the body of the cloak out of the rest of this. But basically I took the wider edge of this so that I would have more width around, and I think it's just gonna get like the other end that I've cut off. I'm probably gonna serge the edge and then just gather it up and attach it to the hood, add some ties, and I think that's gonna be about it. I think it's just gonna be a square panel. I've got the hood made, as you can see. I've already run gathering stitches along the bottom of the hood. I just serged the edges together once I had turned it right sides out. And then I have also, I'm just doing this as a big square like I mentioned, or really it's a rectangle like I mentioned before. I am not adding shaping in, even though I know that that is typical of cloaks, but you know what, we don't have time for that. So we are just gonna do this the square way. I have already run gathering stitches up at the top of this too. I serged the top. The others are the hems that they put on wherever this was originally made, like at whatever factory. It is definitely not a square. Like this did not have 90-degree edges when it was first made, but I've just marked my center so that I can pull up my gathering stitches, and then I'm going to attach these two together and bind it over with something that doesn't stretch. So I'm going to check my bias tape just to, which I know bias tape does stretch a little bit, it doesn't stretch much. I'm going to check that to see if I have something in this color story, or I suppose even black would work. But the other thing that I have that's been in my stash for forever, and it might be decent to use because it's the exact same shade of green, is, hello.
You're using more stuff.
You are welcome to use any of my stash as well.
No.
Is this ribbon trim, which I was thinking I would just like fold over and use as the ties for the cloak, as well as the binding around the neckline. So yeah, that is the potential there if I don't have bias tape. I've got the ends of the binding trim here, and it's all right sides together turned into tubes. So I've got my little tube turner, and now we can pull this right sides out. I love these things, they're so handy. Ta-da! And then I just have to press this. I've already done the other side. I use a pin when it's like this small. I use a pin to get the corners out. I know that some people say not to do that, but I find that it works just fine for me. And then I'll press this. I will press this edge that goes around the neckline and then just top stitch that over, like fold it over and top stitch it. And then the cape part will be done. Cloak is done.
Yay! Woo!
Now to put the last couple pieces of boning in the bodice and close up that, and then the whole project is done. And I just hit 8 hours, so it will be just over 8 hours for this project.
We're twins.
I just finished. I think we are just over the 8.5 hour mark, and all of the bones are in their respective channels, and I'm ready to get dressed.
Yay!
Put my wig on.
Yep.
And go take pictures. We look adorable.
We look so cute.
Oh my god.
And to think we made this in like one day.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I am so excited. We are going to go out to the mountains and take some pictures and take you with us.
Yay!
See you there.
You look so adorable. You look so adorable. I think she looks like the seamstress hobbit.
The embroidery hobbit.
The embroidery. And I'm Little Red Riding /
Little Red Riding Hobbit?
Yeah, Little Red Riding Hobbit. Or like a beer wench hobbit. Like,
yes.
I serve the beers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Let's go. have had the most fun.
We have had a lot of fun
on this project. Oh my god, this was such a good idea that we came up with, like, spur of the moment, the night before
yeah.
that we did this, and that we solidified literally before going to the thrift store yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It was good fun.
It was great fun. I had such focus. I was so focused.
I did not know this about her, but apparently she can't do like long blocks of sewing at a time.
I'm not good at focusing.
I thought that you focused like that. Like,
this gave me like a challenge and a deadline and a bit of a competition to see like I couldn't, you know, let Kirilee finish way ahead of me. You finished a little bit ahead of me, but you also sewed a lot this morning, so.
Yeah, but you know, like I mentioned, I'm slower than this one. And like, well, how many hours did you spend on your costume?
Just about 8.5 total. Yeah.
Where mine was about 11.
Was it that long?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'd worked pretty subtly. I think you only.
Okay.
I finished maybe half an hour to an hour before you today.
Yeah.
And like I spent a decent amount of time this morning.
Okay. But yeah, overall it was so fun.
Was
and
so
honestly,
fun.
I love what we came up with.
I know, right?
I know I'm gonna use probably all of these pieces again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm taking this home with me.
Well, I hope so.
I get on a plane tomorrow. Yeah, 35 hours of flying.
But what a great last full day
I know,
to
right?
come out here to Gold Creek Pond and take
Absolutely
in
stunning.
the beautiful weather, the beautiful scenery, and there's been almost nobody here.
There hasn't.
And snow.
There was snow.
Snow.
I know, right? At this point it's ice, but hey, well, it's snow.
But yeah, this was just so much fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and this collaboration. If you have not already watched Kirilee's video, definitely go over and watch it. It's gonna be right up here, as well as of course down in the description below. And that way you can see the other side of the story, because it was sneaky.
Yes, it was.
Sneaky.
It was good fun. It was good fun. We're showing little bits to each other throughout the process.
Little teasers.
Teasers. But like, I don't think either of us had put the entire outfit on
until we
this
got
morning.
dressed. Like until literally we got dressed to come here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but I think we look so cute.
Oh my god.
We look
totally
so
do.
cute.
So thank you all so much for joining us today. If you like this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you'd like to see more videos like this from me, please go ahead and click subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. I do post videos here on YouTube at least twice a week, with sewing vlogs out on Tuesdays and sometimes other additional sewing content or costuming content out on Saturdays. But I post every day over on my Instagram, so please go follow me on Instagram. That's at Lady Rebecca Fashions. And if you'd like to help support all of the work that I do on this channel, I do have a link to my Patreon and my Ko-fi down in the description below, or you can send me a super thanks or join my YouTube channel memberships right here on YouTube below the video. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my Edwardian level patrons, Jean, Dan, and Kim. Thank you all again so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon in my next video, and in Kirilee's video.
Indeed. Bye.
Happy sewing! Don't come over here, it's soft.
It's good. There we are. Good times.